Hey friends, I'm so glad that you're here. I hope that this next little bit of time together will be incredibly helpful for you and that you will walk away having some definite baby steps that you can take in your own journey towards better health and with some tangible action steps. So, let me give you a little bit of backstory. My name's Amy Sanders. I've been using essential oils for about 3 years now. But my story even starts before that. When I was even from an infant on, was just chronically sick. I had chronic ear infections, tonsillitis all the time, sinus surgeries. When I was 13, I started getting migraines, and they got debilitatingly worse as I aged. Was on all kinds of medicines up until when I had my two girls, and they were tiny. I was on Percocet, which I don't know if you've ever taken Percocet, but they would give it to me for my migraines because nothing else worked anymore. And I was passed out on the couch and couldn't take care of anybody and was very desperate. So I was on the verge of having another surgery. And my sweet friend Kathleen said, would you be interested in considering some natural alternatives to this path that you're on? And I said, sure, I'll do anything at this point. And so she began to introduce to me just things about the cycle of sickness, how sick cells can't make well cells, and my body from eating Mountain Dews and drinking Mountain Dews and eating oatmeal cream pies for years for breakfast. Don't judge. I won't judge you for anything. From that to just all the medicines I'd been on for such a long time, my body was really, really sick. And so we slowly began to just take one little step at a time, and learning how to be healthy and learning how to take good care of our bodies, not just mine, but my children. And she was instrumental in starting that journey for me. Taught me how to grind my own wheat and make my own bread and all sorts of fun things. But as a result of that, when my dear friend Kathy told me that she was going to an essential oils class, I invited myself along, and it was amazing. I sat and learned so much. It made so much sense with the things that I was already doing and that we were trying in our family, but it filled in a lot of the gaps that the other things that I was trying, I didn't have anything for. So if I have a child who's struggling to sleep at night, I didn't have anything for that. There were just so many things I still didn't have good solutions for. And this helped. It helped a lot. So we got our kit about 3 years ago, and my husband works in construction. He's very calm. He's the even. I'm kind of the yo-yo in the marriage, and he's the real steady guy. So he had gashed his finger pretty severely on a piece of broken mirror at work. And at this point in time, my girls were homeschooling. I had a toddler. Ben was tiny. I was exhausted. It was 11 o'clock at night. We were getting into bed, and he said, do you have anything for this? I was like, no, I have nothing to help your finger. I'm sorry. He goes, remember the oils we just got? Oh, those. So I texted Kathy, what do I do? And she said, I'm assuming he's cleaned at this point. I was like, yes, it's clean. She said, put some lavender and some frankincense on it. And so he's like, what do I do? I was like, I don't know. Just go put some of it on there. So he goes and he puts the oils on there, and then he comes back in the bed, and I'm like, how does it smell? Like, how is it? What's happening? What's going on? And he said, I smell like a freaking gift shop. And so I was rolling laughing. It was really, really funny because he doesn't ever have dramatic responses about anything, and that was super dramatic for him. So he rolls over in bed towards me, and he did. He was very, very floral because he put like 3 or 4 drops of each of those oils on him. Making sure, sorry, my computer just did something funny. So he put 3 or 4 drops of the oils on him, and they were really, really, really potent. And so he got up the next day, went to work, and I texted him later in the day. I said, how is it? He said, Amy, this stuff is like Hunger Games medicine. I didn't even have to wrap my finger. So that was kind of the beginning of our journey into this whole foray of essential oils. And I want to go ahead and give you just some room to breathe. I know a lot of people say that these are really, really expensive and it's kind of stressful, but I'll let you know, I have people on my team who are college students and who are buying these for themselves. Preventative care is worth its weight in gold. I have seen that over and over again in the copays that we've saved, in the way I don't have to run out all the time, even in just the things like shampoo and laundry detergent that I'm able to replace. So they have been just priceless to our family and well worth the investment. And they're pennies per drop. So for me to get my water flavored, I mean, it cost me like 2 cents, and I have flavored water that I actually drink all day long as opposed to trying to make myself drink water that I don't like. and I can change up the flavor. So that's super, super fun. And I know sometimes it's stressful just to know about making the decision and feeling empowered to make the decision. And my friend Neil Anderson actually said his wife came to him and was asking permission to be able to purchase essential oils. And he said, do you ask me when you go to CVS or when you buy school supplies or when you get groceries? You don't. He said, this is your domain. And so as long as we're going to use it as a family, feel free to get what's going to be helpful for our family. And I thought that was really empowering just as a wife and a mom. So let me go ahead and do the FDA disclaimer. I am not a doctor. I don't play one on TV. I am not here to treat, to diagnose, to cure, or prevent any illnesses or disease. I'm going to try to stay very far away from that and what we talk about. I really do want to honor the FDA, and so that's kind of where we're headed, okay? So let's talk this through a little bit. So what is an essential oil? Hopefully you've talked to somebody who sent you this link and they've sent you a handout and some samples. And your samples might be different than this, but hopefully you have both of those in front of you. So I'm going to go through this and we'll talk about some of the samples that you might have gotten. If you didn't get these specifically, that's okay. Feel free to use the ones you have. Smelling and experiencing it's going to be one of your greatest ways to discover the power of these. So essential oils are nature's defense mechanisms. They're for plants and cells. And so basically, if you think about it, I don't know if you've ever cut herbs and you've seen how it gets dark around the edge, or you've ever been peeling an orange and you see just that little mist. Those are essential oils. They're there to protect the cells against all kinds of attacks that it has for that plant and to help that plant to thrive. They are aromatic compounds. They're found in the bark, the stem, the root, the leaves, the flowers, other parts of plants. They are then extracted and they're distilled for their health benefits. They're incredibly, incredibly potent. So if you have your little sample vial of peppermint, you can just take that right now and you can pop off the lid and you can just smell it and breathe it in. If you want to get about 1 drop, what I always tell people is just put your finger over the lid and just turn it upside down, come back, and you're going to have about a drop on your finger. So you can do that. You can take it. You can rub it in. It's going to help open up your airways. It's going to just really be a breath of fresh air. You can put it on the back of your neck if you would like to do that. It can help with tension and releasing the tension. If you're having some stomach discomfort, you can feel free to rub it on your stomach. It will really help tremendously there. If you're even feeling fatigued or needing a burst of energy, that's honestly why I was smelling it earlier before I started doing this, is it's the middle of the afternoon. It's really energizing. So they're complex. These essential oils are complex chemical compounds. They're complex because they do so many different things. And so if we were to isolate all these different compounds, that's a lot of times how we get synthetic versions of things that you'll find in stores, that they break apart plants and they isolate a compound and then they make a synthetic version, and then that's what we take. So this is a carbon-based thing, and our body knows what to do with it. Our body knows how to absorb it. Our body knows how to use these. And 1 drop, I'm totally blanking out right now, but I want to say that like 1 drop of peppermint is the equivalent of 28 cups of peppermint tea. So it's incredibly potent. Very, very, very effective for opening up the airways, because, I mean, when I drink my 1 little cup of peppermint tea every morning that I drink, it's great and it helps, but it doesn't have nearly the efficacy that 1 drop of essential oil will have. So that is peppermint. You also probably have a sample of melaleuca. You can take that out and smell it if you'd like to. Melaleuca is great for so much of getting rid of the funk. We love it if we're having ear pain. We'll just rub it around our ears. I actually put melaleuca on my sinus cavities every morning as part of just my morning daily routine, just as a preventative to help. It's great if you're dealing with some blemishes. You can use it on there. You can put it in your shampoo to nourish your scalp. It also repels all kinds of critters, which is great if you've got small children in schools. But it's so wonderful for funky feet, for stinky shoes. We love melaleuca. It's also known as tea tree oil. It's the same thing. So those are 2 great things that are super powerful. And the wonderful thing about essential oils is that they are able to get inside and outside of that cell membrane wall. So they're incredibly potent against all kinds of attacks that our body faces. So how do we use essential oils? There's three main ways. We can use them aromatically, topically, and internally. And if we're going to use them aromatically, the big reasons that we're going to use that is to cleanse our air from impurities and to improve our moods. So, for example, let's say like my family had the plague this last week. It was awful. People were in bed all day, but really only one of my kiddos got it. In all the other rooms, we were diffusing On Guard. We love On Guard. It's a great immune booster, but it's also going to help purify the air and remove some of those toxins so that we're not all being exposed to all the junk that's being spread throughout the house. It's also great if you've got something stinky that you need to get rid of. Super wonderful to diffuse for that. And it's also great, so we're using it to purify the air and to change or improve our moods. Because oils can go through the blood-brain barrier, they can actually affect the brain chemistry. It's incredibly potent. We could talk about it for hours, but just know that when you're feeling like you need a kick in the pants or a burst of energy, or you're sad and you're grieving, or you just need some calm, they're really potent. I was the most skeptical about this of all the aspects of essential oils, and I've actually been so surprised by how powerful they are in that capacity. Also, they're great for opening up the airways. That would be a third way and a third reason that you would want to diffuse them or take them aromatically. Breathe is one of our great blends. If you've got this packet of samples, you're going to have some Breathe in there. Breathe is a wonderful thing to diffuse, to help open up the airways and to really help just to get things where you can breathe better. So those are our three reasons. You can either use a diffuser, and we've got a whole video on how to use diffusers. Feel free to go and check that out. That's a great way to get it aromatically. Maybe you just want to put it on a pillow, so when you lay down at night, you can breathe in lavender, and it's really calming and can help you sleep. Maybe you put it on your clothes, or you have a bracelet that you like, and you put a drop on there. All of those, you're breathing it in, and it's affecting you aromatically. So that's our first way of getting and using our oils. The second way that we're going to use them is topically. So that's going to be on our skin. So let's say we're having some stomach discomfort. We might want to use Digestin and put it straight on our stomach. Or you are having some achy muscles and joints. One of my favorites is Deep Blue Rub. My kids love this, especially at night right before bed. My daughter almost always asks for this. My husband loves it for when he's had a long day at work. It is incredibly potent, and because it's going and working at the cellular level, it's going to last a whole lot longer than some other options that are out there today. So love Deep Blue. So those are topically. Anytime you have something in a specific location that you're wanting to support on your body, you can use the oils topically. You're going to want to dilute them for sure. Hotter oils like oregano or cinnamon or cassia or On Guard, you're going to want to dilute them more. And what does that mean? You're going to take a carrier oil or like an unscented lotion even, just some sort of vegetable oil. This is fractionated coconut oil. We like this one a lot because it's shelf stable for a really long time and doesn't go rancid as quickly as some of the other ones. And so you can literally just take a squirt of the oil, of the fractionated coconut oil, and then a drop of your essential oil, rub it in. You can put it on your stomach, or you can even make a roller where it's already pre-diluted and ready to go. So these rollers are like the lip balms that we used back in the day. Hey, child of the 80s. So the rollers are really powerful and effective too because they're easy and they're ready to go. They're the Touch rollers that are already pre-diluted and safe for all ages. The general rule of thumb for dilution tends to be 1 drop per 1 tablespoon of carrier oil for infants. There are some oils that aren't safe, so make sure you do your research on that for babies, for the teeny tinies, just because their skin is so sensitive, and we want to be mindful of that. And as you age, your dilution ratio decreases. And some oils are safe to use neat. That would mean without using any kind of carrier oil. I will tell you, we almost always use carrier oils just because the carrier oil is heavier than the molecules of the essential oil, so it's going to weigh it and keep it from evaporating quite as quickly off of your skin and make it work a lot longer and more effectively. We almost always put the oils on our feet as well. I'm sure you probably heard that. It's because the skin on your feet is the thickest, and so you're not going to have any kind of, the odds of having a skin sensitivity or reaction to it are much decreased by putting them on the bottoms of your feet. So one of my child has incredibly sensitive skin, and so we almost always put everything on her feet, and she reacts perfectly fine. Whereas if we were to put Breathe on her chest when she was needing help to open up her airways, she might break out in a little bit of a rash. That's just because she's super sensitive to everything. She's my child who has all the allergies. She's allergic to peanuts. She's that child. But then I have, she is 9, and my 5-year-old, I can put the same stuff on him, and he has no response whatsoever. So you really just have to know yourself, learn your body, figure out what you're comfortable using and what works well for you. If you were ever, we always say that the oils have side benefits instead of side effects, but there are side effects. If I were to take my hands that have peppermint on them from earlier in this class and would try to get something out of my eye because I forgot and I totally put peppermint in my eye, it would burn like fire. And so your natural tendency is to want to rinse it with water, but please don't. It drives it deeper into the tissue. So if you were ever to do that, take some of your carrier oil, whatever you can grab, and just rub it around the outside of your eye, and it will draw it out of your eye, and there will be really fast relief. It's pretty impressive how quickly it works. Just saying, might have had that happen a couple of times in my life. So that is how we use it topically. Less is more and more often. We're in a culture where we take big fat doses once or twice a day. But a slow, steady stream of oils is going to be far more helpful for you when your body's in crisis and needing more support than if you hit it hard one time with a ton of oils. Your body doesn't know what to do with that. So less is more and more often is our general rule of thumb. So the last way to take the oils is to take them internally. And when you're taking oils internally, you want to make sure you know that what you're getting is good and it's a high quality. And we'll talk about doTERRA's oils in a second for that reason, but you also always want to put them, if you're putting them in your water, you want to make sure that it's in a glass bottle or a stainless steel. You don't want to put them in paper or styrofoam or plastic. It'll eat all that up. Paper, I think, is actually okay. Sorry. But not styrofoam and not plastic. You also want to be careful. Not all oils are safe to take internally. So you can look on the bottle itself, and if it's got a supplement facts, there you go. If it has a supplement fact on the bottle, it's safe to take internally. And if it doesn't have the supplement fact, it's not. So On Guard is safe to take internally, but you also want to be wise about what you're taking internally. And so there are different ways you can put things in your water. There are other things that are better to put in a gel cap. You can use a veggie cap and make it yourself, or there's already some pre-made gel caps that are safe to take as well. One of my favorite ways to get oils internally, honestly, is I brush my teeth with the On Guard every day. And so that's a great way to take it internally. My daughter takes these lovely On Guard beadlets. They're teeny tiny. They're just 1/4 of a drop of the oil. And so before she goes off to school, she takes one of these just to give her immune system a massive boost. It's so incredibly effective. It's phenomenal to me how well they work. So the big reasons for taking them internally would be if you're wanting to give like mucus or digestive support. It would be great reasons to take things internally. Or if you're needing whole body support would be another reason to take something internally. On Guard is one of our favorites. It's also on the sheet here. We love On Guard. It has been such a game changer. It's something that we use almost daily, especially in the fall and the winter for immune system support. And the results that we've seen from it have just been astronomical. So if you want to know more about On Guard, feel free to ask the person who sent you this way, and they'll tell you some pretty phenomenal stories. So then why would you want to use, so that's how you use them. You can use them topically, internally, or aromatically. Why doTERRA? I mean, you can go to Sprouts, you can go to Amazon, you can go to Walmart, you can go anywhere. Why would you go to doTERRA? Why would you purchase doTERRA essential oils? And there's a couple of reasons. The first reason, honestly, is my favorite thing about this company, hands down, and that's their co-impact sourcing. And so we're getting our oils sourced from around the world. We're finding growers around the world who are working on their own farms. This really makes me excited. And a lot of them are third world countries. And so these people have been exploited for centuries by middlemen who get their oils and then they can pay them whatever they want to pay them. And so doTERRA is coming in and giving them a contract and investing into these communities, pouring back into the growers, not disturbing the way that they're doing it. You know, if they've got an old distillery that's this clay cement vat, great, let's use it. But they're rewarding them for waiting until the right time to harvest. You know, a lot of times you can get something and they'll say 100% pure, but if it's not harvested at the right time, it's not going to have the same therapeutic benefits. Also, there is something to be said about getting things in the right environment. I live in Georgia. I could put a palm tree or an orange tree in my front yard and try to grow it. I could. But let's just be real honest. It's not going to flourish here. It needs to be like in a warm, humid, wonderfully stable climate like Florida, which is why the orange tree is Florida's fruit, right? And tree or something. I don't know. We were talking about this in school this week. Clearly it stuck. So anyway, you can totally plant it here, but it really makes it a difference. The climate, the soil, the environment, all of those factors are going to affect the therapeutic benefit of that plant when it's finally harvested and distilled. So doTERRA works really hard with growers around the world so that we can have the highest quality oils possible. And that's part of our co-impact sourcing, where we're reinvesting back into these communities. One of my favorite things is they have the Day for Girls, where they go into these communities, and Emily Wright was one of our founders, and as she was traveling, she noticed that so oftentimes the girls were dropping out of school around 12 to 14, and she couldn't figure out why. And she started to ask questions and realized that they were starting their cycles, and they didn't have any kind of supplies whatsoever, and there was so much shame and embarrassment, so they would just drop out. And so they're going in and they're teaching these girls and these women how to make their own supplies so that they won't run out, so that they can teach their daughters how to do it, so the generations can be empowered and changed. And I just I love it, because I would just go in and fix it and give them what they needed, but they're actually working and thinking strategically in how to empower these women and these communities and building schools and wells and all of this. So it's such a really neat thing that when you're buying an oil like spikenard, you know that you're affecting women who are climbing up in the mountains to go get it, and that they're able to send their kids to school because of it. So it's a really, really, really fun thing. The other thing that's really potent about choosing a company like doTERRA is you need to know where your oils are coming from. The FDA does not regulate essential oils at all. And so when you go, you need to know there are different grades. The first grade is synthetic, and this is just going to be your man-made oil. This is going to be what you find in your chewing gums when you walk into your super fragrant scented candle stores or your lotion stores, and you instantly get a headache because the scent is so overwhelming. Those are your synthetics. The second grade is going to be your food grade of essential oil, and that's going to be what you find in chewing gums and salad dressings. Sometimes they're synthetic and sometimes they're not. And then your other grade is going to be therapeutic. That's what you're going to see everywhere. Everywhere you go is going to have this label of therapeutic grade, 100% pure, but it doesn't mean anything because anybody can say that. And there's no regulation on it. So you can put anything in that bottle and then slap a label on it and say anything you want to say about it. So doTERRA said we need to set a standard so that when you buy a bottle of doTERRA oils, you know what you're getting. And so the standard for them is pretty simple. They run the most extensive testing on every single barrel of oil that comes in. It's incredible. It's more than any other company runs. I can give you all the details about all the different tests if you would like to know them. But they also have a third-party company actually run those tests so that doTERRA is not compromised in any way, shape, or form. If they don't pass the test, they never come into the doors of doTERRA. doTERRA continues to run more tests after that. But you know you're getting what it says that you're getting, and you're getting the highest quality possible. Also, we talked about it a little bit with co-impact sourcing, but plants are harvested in their natural habitat. That makes a huge difference for the potency. And they are really checking diligently to make sure that there are no fillers, there are no contaminants. That if it says oregano, it's oregano. If it says cinnamon, it's not cinnamon and cassia, it's cinnamon. And it's not a synthetic, it's the real deal. And it's beyond organic. They're not going to say organic on the bottle because we work with countries around the world, and the process of getting that certified organic label would shoot the price through the roof, and it wouldn't necessarily benefit us at all as far as the therapeutic properties. But what you are getting is beyond therapeutic grade, beyond organic. It's the best of the best, and I'm going to tell you, you can see and smell the difference. You go buy yourself a bottle of cheap oil from Sprouts for like $2 for like a bottle this big, and see how it works for the different things that you're trying to support in your body, and then try just a drop of doTERRA's and see if you don't notice a difference. It really is phenomenal. I've had person after person tell me. One of my friends told me the other day she had come in and was smelling ylang ylang in my house and said, "This doesn't smell like the stuff I got at the store at all." And I was like, "Is that good or bad?" She goes, "No, the stuff at the store smelled awful and I hated it, but this smells so good." so that you can really tell the difference. It will affect you on all levels when you get the best. So if you're using your handout, go ahead and flip over. We're going to talk about doTERRA's #1 selling product for just a few minutes, and that's the Lifelong Vitality Supplements. So we're going to start. It's a 3. That's really not helpful, is it, at all, when you're seeing the backs of them. So it's 3-pack of supplements. And y'all, I was very dubious about these, but I have to tell you, they have literally changed my life. I have so much more energy now than I have ever had before, which is saying a lot. I mean, I have a middle schooler. I'm homeschooling my sweet middle child, and I have a preschool kiddo. So I'm on the go all the time, working mama, getting it done. But these have changed my life. So this is the Microplex MVP, or actually it's the VMZ now, sorry. And it stands for vitamins, minerals. So that's what this is. This is your vitamins and your minerals. And it's been perfectly formulated for the American diet. So there's not too much of anything in it. It's not 200 and 300, 400% past what we need, because we are seeing, studies are showing that can be detrimental to our health when we get too much of a good thing. You know, even if you drink too much water, it's not good for you. So it's perfectly formulated with what the average American diet is, to give you those extra things. If you're like me, you need that in your day, because you don't eat perfectly every day, because hey, life. So that's the MVZ, the VMZ. I cannot talk. Bless. Wonderful. Love it. Then we have the XE Omega, and these omegas are wonderful for brain health. They're wonderful for mood lifting. They're just foundational. So these 2 right here are called the Daily Nutrient Pack. So if you don't need a whole lot of extra energy or extra support, or you're not dealing with anything chronic, these are a great place to start. If you're like I was and you were kind of tanked out, the Alpha CRS is wonderful. It is your cellular vitality complex, and it's just going to give your cells a whole lot of extra support, extra food to give your body some extra energy over the long term. You're not going to take this. It's not going to be like drinking a Coke and you feel energy. But over the long term, you're going to start to see your cells have some more health and life and vitality. So y'all, these are game changers. I've had friends who said that they would never, ever take a supplement, and they got some for free and tried it, and they won't not take them now. They have so much more energy and life. And so many times I feel like we're running at 60% and we're thinking that this is great. We're running really well. We think we're at like 90, 95, but really we're at 60. And I've seen this happen a lot where people have started to take these, and literally they're just amazed at how much different they feel as a result of taking those. So those are the basics. There's so much more we could talk about. And normally at this point in my classes, people fall into one of 3 groups. And the first group is, you had me at hello, I'm totally interested, I'm ready to sign up. And so if that is you, please get with the person who sent you this link, or contact me and let me know, and we'll be happy to show you the best way to get signed up and what your best options are, how to get the best bang for your buck, the whole 9 yards. The second group of people are, you know what, this is really interesting, and you have definitely whet my appetite, and I would like to know more, but I have a whole bunch of questions. So again, feel free to contact us. And then the third group of you is, this was great, and I learned some things, but this is not a fit for my family right now, and that's fine. Please, it was not a fit for me for a long time. I wasn't ready to learn about this. People who had been telling me about essential oils for years, and I just blew it off and said, y'all are crazy. But I figure if you've gotten 28 minutes into this, that you're at least a little bit interested. So if you're not, though, that's okay. I'm thankful that you stuck with me, and I'm thankful for the gift of your time. And if you have anybody else that you're thinking of that this might be really, really life-changing and life-giving too, please feel free to send them our way. We would be happy. My heart's desire above all else, it really is, it's just to see lives changed. My life is so much richer from the benefit of this community and these people and these lives that have come along and supported me, but also from just these gifts from the Lord. They really have been gifts for our family. And so I would love for you to come and join us as we're learning how to support each other and how to journey towards better health. So thanks so much for your time, and have a great day. Bye.